Oh, good morning, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? Definitely getting too much sun. I'm so sunburned. My head, my feet, my legs, and my stomach. I went into the hot tub. It was like I was crying. It was like so hot. But then it kind of gets numb, so you don't care. Um, so this is going to be just basically economics right now. It won't be that long, but it'll be some very interesting questions and comments. So I'm talking to the banker and I'm talking to another guy. And it just dawns on me people don't quite understand. So that is that. Let's see what gold's at right now. It's been right in that little range 33.30, 33.20 to 33.60. Gets up to 30, near 34 like last week, and then it quickly goes back down. So we are at 33.44. And look at this narrow range. 33.42 went down to 33.25 at 7 in the morning. And then we had our little 10 o'clock drop go down from 33.47 to 33.38, $9. Then back up and back down and then back up. And we're at 33.44. Silver 38.18. What's going on? How do I explain it to people? Let's put it this way. When you print a lot of things, you end up where it has no value. And I think that's the case with the dollar. What you have to realize is there is no value to it. And I think this is where people don't get it. Not you guys, but just in general. Why is a dollar not worth anything? Because it's been printed. There's been too much printed. More printed than needed, more printed than used. And now you're in a situation with the $37 trillion debt, which you can't pay back. You've got $1 trillion in interest payments going up to $2 trillion a year. You have Social Security, Medicare, which you don't have money for, which you're just printing. You have government employees, which you don't have money for because government doesn't produce any revenue. And you're printing that. And then you have just the overall, the military, the defense contractors. Apparently, the CIA's got their own little army going, which is not good. And so you're spending more than you're bringing in. Well, what does that got to do with the value of money? Well, how do you pay everybody? Me and you cannot print money. Me and you take out a loan. We get a 0% credit card for a while. We borrow whatever we need to do to pay our bills. And then we just kind of keep going down the line going, well, we'll just keep borrowing. But the government doesn't. The government doesn't borrow. They do it with the treasuries. That's what the point of doing the treasury auction is to borrow money to pay their costs. And one quick thing, look at these avocados. I'm getting more and more avocados. That this is a pretty firm avocado. And look at it. I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's kind of hard to do it. And then when I eat it, this one tastes okay, but most of them are not. There's something wrong with these things. I brought 3 or 4 from home, and they're all this brown. I mean, I don't know what that is. I really, I'll have to find another place to get avocados. I mean, they don't taste great, but they don't taste bad. If you get a fresh one, it's not sweet, but it's okay. And you're eating it for health. So what's happening? We can't afford our bills. So what we would do is sell treasury bonds. and China and Germany and Japan and England and some of these countries, Switzerland would buy our treasuries because they thought it was safe haven. And so we never worried about it. Well, we can handle the debt, we can handle our expenses by printing treasuries and people buy them. Then we take their money and we pay the bills. Problem is that's done. Nobody wants to buy our treasuries anymore. How do we pay our bills? Well, instead of selling treasuries and getting that, selling something, we can't. We just have to print. Now, I showed you a 101 Steve Eiserman. I showed you some very limited Tom Brady rookie cards. The Joe Montana and Jerry Rice rookie PSA 10s are probably limited to 100 or so, and they have a huge value. 100,000 for Montana because there's not a lot that are actually Gem Mint 10, Gem Mint 10 rookie cards. So we understand that the more limited something is, the more it's worth. Well, if we keep printing dollars, what happens to the value of the dollar? It doesn't go up. It's not limited. It goes down. So the value of the dollar has gone down, 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 and it's virtually gone. Virtually, it has no value. Okay, so do you want to hold something with no value? And you go, geez, no, I don't want to do that. I want to hold something with the value, right? I don't want to have my money lose money for me. But the kicker is if you have it in Bitcoin, stocks, real estate trust, in the bank, getting an annuity, you're getting paid worthless dollars, right? Even if you're mining stocks or your Apple or your Nvidia, if those stocks go up, you're not making any money because that's in dollars. So therefore, you're not making any money. Well, how about gold, Howard? That's in dollars. No, it's priced in dollars now, but it doesn't need to be. Gold is its own money, and therefore, gold will keep the value like a Rolex or a Montana or Brady cards because they are in itself real assets with real value. And if somebody has gold, they will give you gold for that asset. That's how you know it's a good asset. I will give you, so much gold for the Montana rookie card or for the Mantle card. And then it has value, but nobody's going to give you gold for $1 or a Bitcoin. We don't know what a Bitcoin is. This is the problem. So anything in paper is really worthless. Stocks, bonds, real estate, Bitcoin, God knows the stable coins, piece of crap. It has to be backed by the gold. And this is what the banker didn't understand. Well, Bitcoin, that's backed by, what's it backed by? Oh, no, that has a value. What kind of value does it have? It doesn't have any value. Because it's not real, and it's not backed by gold or silver. Anything backed by the dollar is worthless. So what good is it to have something backed by the dollar? This is terrible. If it wasn't healthy for me, I wouldn't eat it, but this is terrible. It's like it's over. Um, it's like it's like a month old, and they're trying to sell it, and it's hard, but it's not. It's not ripe. It's overripe. Probably the best word. So, okay. So why is it worthless? Because it's printed too much. There's too much of it. To put it simple, there's too much dollars that make the dollar worth nothing. I didn't think that could happen. We're the reserve currency. That doesn't matter, reserve currency or not. If you print too much of the dollar and nobody wants it, and then you have nobody buying the T-bills, and you have, I don't like this term de-dollarization, but the fact that BRICS is not even using it. Russia trades with China, and they trade with Brazil, and they trade with India. We don't even want the dollar. So now the dollar is not being used as it was before. on these FX crosses to exchange money and for trade. So now nobody wants the dollar, which makes it worthless there. So that's the second thing. Nobody wants it because there's too much, and then they put too many restrictions on it. Well, if you do that, you got to give us your firstborn child if you take out a loan with our money, with our banks. So it's worth nothing because you've printed it too much and nobody wants it. So 2 reasons. Oh, how can that be, Howard? No. It's the dollar. It always has a value. And that's the point. It doesn't have a value. There is no value to the dollar. It's gone. Unfortunately. Do we want this? Absolutely not. That's why you back your dollar by gold, because what you're saying is if you have $100, you can go get gold at the bank and they'll give you $100 worth of gold. Well, that would keep the money worth something because you can always get the gold. But now I go to the bank with the $100. I don't get anything for it. I go to the grocery store and try to buy things. There's nothing I can buy. It's not worth anything. It costs more. I was just at the grocery store trying to find avocados here up north, and there was and the guy selling Cocoa Puffs for $8.99, $6.99 for a fucking box of cereal. Now, I don't buy cereal. I don't eat it. I don't want to eat breads and cereals. Try to stick with avocados and fruits and veggies. And I did pick up some plums that were reasonably priced. But it's just nuts. So you can see that the value of the dollar is going out. Most people aren't going to believe that. The banker, it was way over his head because he was a Keynesian. So how many Austrian economists are we dealing with here? Me, you, and 20 people, baby. They stopped teaching it in the schools. I learned it in 1995, and that was probably it. And I stopped learning, and then they stopped teaching it. So they teach Keynesian bullshit economics that I don't even understand. It's so the words they use you're like, what the fuck are they talking about? And it doesn't work. It's been proven false. So I don't even pay. That's why I don't even pay attention to it, because it's government running everything, which can't. The market, us, can run the market. Not the government cannot run the market. It can never run the market. Because we're the ones, like I chose to get an avocado today. Well, the market can't. The government can't predict that, or can't say, oh, Howard's going to buy an avocado. Or where I went to breakfast was a different place. Okay. I think I'm all right. Again, with this internet connection, but this isn't even at home. So I don't even know, is it my computer or what? But I think because I'm at the hotel. Anyway, so you have that where you don't know, people don't understand that basic concept that the money's worth nothing. So today I was getting a coffee, and some guy was getting a coffee, and I started talking to him, and I said, I don't know, we started talking about, the restaurant here is not that good. And one thing led to another. I says, well, do you have any gold? And he said, no. And he was like a carpenter, and he's retired. I says, well, you must have some pretty decent money. Oh, yeah, I do. And I says, I'm your guardian angel, and I'm telling you that you're in trouble because your money's worthless. And he kind of understood the money was worthless between the debt and the interest and Social Security and everything else. He kind of understood that. But he didn't get the concept of gold out of it. So I'm trying to teach him, okay, be leery of that. I'm going to close this, but it's a nice breeze. So trying to teach him the understanding of the gold. I says, the reason gold has a value is you can't print it. You can't inflate it. it's just there. You hold it in your hand. You got to buy physical and hold it in your hand. You can see the light kind of going on, but he's sitting there. Let's say he's sitting there with $500,000 in his 401k, and I'm telling him it's worthless. So the problem is he has to understand why it's worthless, which I tried to explain. I used the Titanic on him, and that he needs to get out of it for his 500,000 to keep its value. And this is where you really struggle with people kind of coming to terms that their 500,000 is worthless. This is the hard part. They don't want to hear that. They can't comprehend. What do you mean it's worthless? And you can just see the lights stay off. They don't want to understand it. They don't want to protect it. And you're saying, look, if you buy gold, it can't go down because it's limited. You can't print it. What makes things go lose value is you print them. I mean, this is green and it's still so hard. So the point is, the more you print of the dollar, the less it's worth, but you can't print gold. So gold's your safe haven. Gold's your lifeboat. And he's hemming and high, says, look, you can buy the gold. And if you need money, you just sell the gold. You can sell an ounce and get 3,400 and pay off your bill. I mean, because you're going to need it to pay a bill, let's say. I said, that's what you can do. That kind of eases the pain if they know they can sell the gold to get the money, because they, in their minds, they've got to constitute that. Well, wait a minute, if my 401k is worthless, how do I? Okay, so if I turn it into gold, how do I pay my bills? That's the sticking point. My one friend says it's my retirement. I said, well, use your gold as the retirement. What if you had a Rolex? What if you had a Picasso? Is that not your retirement? I got my baseball cards. I could sell them, and I got to get a lot of them graded, but I could sell them, and that would be my retirement. What are you going to do with your stocks? The way it's set up now is your money's in stocks, and you're going to sell your stocks to pay your bills. Retirement, what's the difference if you sell your gold or you sell your stocks? Well, the gold will be worth a lot more than the stocks. Well, how about the Bitcoin? Well, again, it's in dollars. It's not worth anything. So that's our other hard point. Well, I see it's worth 118,000. So, but a Bitcoin isn't real. There's no value. But again, because the money's not worth anything, the dollar, I saw it down to 111,000. The $111,000 is really not worth anything. And so you try to you're trying to shake the guy like, look, I'm trying to help you. Buying the gold does not mean you don't have money or you can't use it. You're just moving it out of paper into something that has a value that can't go down because they can't print it and will go up. And that's really what you're trying to have them understand. And so I think when you explain that you can sell the gold and get your money, and then if you need money, you have it. Because I think they think, well, 500,000 is my retirement. So when I retire, I'm going to use that money to pay my bills, even though it's not worth anything. Oh, it'll always be worth something. We're the U.S. No, it won't. It won't be worth anything. That's the problem. It goes to zero. As all currencies in paper that aren't backed by anything, all go to zero because they keep printing the shit out of it. Every month they got to print and cover the Social Security and the Medicare and the interest on the debt, and all the government employees, they got to get paid. So right now we're paying them in US dollars. The system works using money to pay. The problem is the type of money is fiat. Overproduced money needs to go to gold. Now, if we use plugged in gold and silver, the system would work fine. And that's what it was from 1815 to 1913. We had the gold backed currency or the gold standard, and everything worked fine. soon as we get off to the Federal Reserve, 1913, we had World War One, we had a Great Depression, we had World War Two, we had all these wars came in because of the fiat currency. Even though it was backed by gold, no, it wasn't. It was backed by gold. I don't know if we're on the gold standard after 1913 until 1945. So I think we're off the gold standard then. Yeah, because Roosevelt took us off and said it's only worth 20. Now, Roosevelt did not come to your house and give me your gold. He went to the banks, and if you stored your money in the bank, they confiscated the money from the bank and gave, oh, you got 5 ounces? It's $20 an ounce. Give the guy $100. So it was never, they stole the money from you, and they never went to your house. Now, the difference now that people go, well, will they compensate it now because Ray DeLilio, because, well, look what happened back then. Well, no, because there was gold-backed currency back then. Gold backed the currency probably until 1932 or whatever. We don't back the currency now with gold. So they don't need the gold to change the price of the currency. They'll just print what they're doing. If they want money, they'll go after Bitcoin and they'll steal from your stocks and your banks and stuff like that. But they don't need the gold. In their eyes, nobody in America has gold. So why would we go after people's gold? Where before we were on the gold standard, you could have gold. That was the point. So a lot of people had gold because we're on the gold standard. Now it's totally different. There's no reason to come after your gold. They might tax you when you sell it if they can, but we'll try to do that on the low. But by going into gold and silver, you go into something limited, like a Rolex, like a Mano card, like that one of one Iserman card. It adds value because it's limited. So why is the dollar gone? Because they print the shit out of it. And B, nobody wants it. So therefore it has no value. Yes, it says 100 on the bill. And I actually have that with me for one of the rare times. This is, I haven't ripped this yet. So this is worth $1. It says 100. It says Federal Reserve note, which you know it's already trouble. The United States of America, you know that's trouble. This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. Some treasurer and some serial number, and this is 2013. This note was printed. So if I went back into the future, I couldn't use it in 1955 to buy a Mantle rookie card. This isn't worth. This says 100 on it, but this isn't worth $100 anymore. The value of this 100 has gone to 1. So if I take this to the grocery store, I can buy maybe 7 or 8 items. Where before, I could fill my cart with the $100 in the 70s, and even in the 80s, I could fill 3/4 of my cart. Now cereal is $7-8 a box. I can buy a few of those and a few steak, and okay, that's my 100. So this is where people get fooled because it says 100. You think you have $100 bill. You're confused on what the value of the $100. So it says 100, but the value is not 100. What it will buy is the value. What's it worth? What can I use it for? And it keeps going down and down and down because they keep printing. So as they print money, you think it's still worth the same value as it was in 1971 and 1913 and 1842. You think that $100 still buys what it did back then. And that's really the definition of the value, is what's the worth of the 100. Why do we go into gold and silver? Because that's going up. So we bought gold at 1,700, right? A couple years ago. Now it's at, let's call it 3,400, just to keep it simple. So it's doubled. We don't even care about that. But notice the dollar has gone down to nothing, but the gold has doubled. That's what you take out of it. What the gold will buy has doubled or maintained all the money that the dollar has lost. So we know why the dollar is collapsing because they keep printing it. The more you print, the less it's worth. And then we know why we're buying gold because it's limited. And gold is going up because the dollar is going down, but also because BRICS and the demand for gold is pushing the price up. That's why it's not still $35 or $2,000. That's why it's not there, is because of the huge demand by BRICS. There's not a lot of it, and all you have is the price going up. Now, it might be priced in dollars, as Egon likes to say, but price it in anything, it's going up in value because there's huge demand and low supply. The US dollar is low demand and high supply. So when you have printed a lot and nobody wants it, it has no value. That's why you can't hold it. So your best play is to Rumpelstiltskin and switch it. You get out of the dollar, you go to this gold store and you say, I'm going to sell you dollars and I want gold. The dollars are worthless. They're just going down, down, down. But the gold keeps going up, up, up. Well, it's running into a hiccup now. I assume the U.S. wants to buy gold. That's why they're keeping the price down. And it has got nothing to do. There is no such thing as a short squeeze. If everybody in the world bought a thousand ounces of silver, the price would not go up one penny because it's not dependent on people buying it. It's dependent on these stupid options by J.P. Morgan. And I guess Citi and Bank of America and these guys, the bullion banks. There's 8 of them. There's 4 or 5 in the U.S. Then there's one in London. HSBC, which is in China, which is the most corrupt bank, besides J.P. Morgan. So they're the ones running the options to keep the price down. So governments and the Fed can, I guess, buy the gold to pay off the options when people want to take delivery. So there's no short squeeze you can possibly do in those at this point. Now we're going to have physical exchanges in Russia, St. Pete, in Dubai, and Hong Kong, Singapore, and China, Shanghai. They're going to have physical. So you got a physical bar you want to sell. This is what the price is going to be, and then you'll know the real price. So it'll be priced in yuan, I guess. Maybe rubles also. I don't know. Maybe Dubai. I don't know. We'll have to convert, but it's going to be tough because our dollar won't be worth anything. So I don't know what's really going to happen to the price. We'll be fine because it'll still be worth a hell of a lot of money. But I don't know if we'll be able to use U.S. dollars, whatever it is. But, let's say it'll be worth, it's 3,400 now, it'll be worth 10,000 or 20,000 of what it is now. It'll go up 5-6 times. Why do we want gold and silver? Because it's limited. You cannot print it. It has to come out of the ground. And once it's out of the ground, it's gone. So it can't be printed. And that's the key to gold and silver. But the dollars keep being printed by every country. Every country is printing the dollars to death. They all have the same problem. They all have a big debt. They all have too many government employees to pay, so they print. They all have pensions and Social Security. People are retiring, are expecting the money. And so the answer for the world is we'll have a war because that will get us out of the recession, these idiots think. That's CIA mentality. Well, we'll keep these wars running because we can't get out of debt and we're all going to go away because we can't afford it, right? Wars are very expensive. Wars do not get you out of a budget. Well, it did World War II. Well, look what the problem was with World War I. That was a nightmare. World War II, the only reason the U.S. got out because we were the leading manufacturer. So we would make weapons for everybody else, and like England, and we sold them. Here's the tanks and all this, and we want your gold. So they bought the weapons with gold. Well, that's not what's happening now. The U.S. isn't making anything. The Defense Department, the defense contractors are, but that's not the U.S. government, and nobody's paying them in gold. And I don't buy that too many people are going to pay them because they can't afford it. These countries are all broke. It's not like they're going to have money. So that's what you have. You have a nightmare, but you have even worse. They're not telling their people they're all getting fucked. I'm telling this guy he's a carpenter. He doesn't have a clue. He's retired. He's on some pension. He probably figures this is great. I got all this money. And some guy like the professor says it's worthless. He doesn't know what to think. Who am I? I'm the professor. That's why you got to listen. But he has no concept. The banker, this guy's a banker, for Christ's sakes, at the golf course. He's clueless. I'm beginning to think our class, and Egon are the only people that understand that everybody's getting fucked here. They won't tell you that because the government doesn't want to create a panic. And the government, I guess, wants to control us for whatever reason because they're all a bunch of fucking assholes. I don't know. What do you mean you want to control us? What do you want to control us for? This is freedom. We don't want to be controlled. We want to have freedom. We don't want stablecoin, CBDCs. We want something that's real. Bitcoin, is that real? Let me see it. That ends that conversation. What's it backed by? Nothing. Well, that ends that conversation. So you're in real estate, you're in annuities, you're in stocks, and you think you're okay. I got $1 million, so I'm okay. $1 million of zero is still zero. If you had $1 million of gold, you'd be buying a country soon. Yeah, is this China? I'm going to buy the country. I got gold. Oh, yeah, France. Yeah, let me buy France. That's the problem, is people are unaware they're all being screwed. And they don't realize the simple cure is to buy gold and silver. Now, the Chinese understand that. The Russians understand that. The Germans understand it because they lived through it. Outside of that, Singapore, Hong Kong, they kind of get it because they have all the stores and all the gold jewelry. But even the jewelry, you're doing now in India, the jewelry is like 22 karat. So it's an ounce is an ounce. But see, so India gets it. But I'd rather have the coins. Put one in your pocket. Well, I guess you could put this in your pocket. See, it's funny when I travel, I never declare this. I mean, this is 1 ounce of gold at 18 karat. So if gold's 33 divided by 0.75, it's about $2,500. I never declare it. So I don't really get declaring the gold or not. But if you travel, you never do. One thing I get nervous about is when I do travel, the gold at home, it's in my safe. It's well concealed. And the odds on anybody knowing I even have any, they know I talk about it, but I just say it's in a safe place. Well, they don't know if it's at home or not. Knock on wood, I hope it's fine when I get home. But I did bring part of it here. And when you travel, let's say you have 500,000 and the money's in the bank or it's in your stocks or something, you're not worried about it. But you should be, but you don't because, nobody's going to rob the bank because my money's not there anyway. Your fear is the bank closing and you can't get your money out. That's what your fear should be, but you don't realize that. Having your money in a safety deposit box. The bank closes, you don't get I got my safety deposit box in there. Sorry. So I got to find a little locker or, Storage Wars or something where I rent something for a week or even if it needs to be a month and just put it there and then not worry about it. Because that's the only thing that you kind of have to, like, if you lose it, you're really fucked. Fortunately, here there's a safe in the room with, I got the only key, so I'm very comfortable. When I'm driving, it's in the car, so I'm very comfortable. When I get home, I'll put it back in the safe and lock it up. And I'm usually around enough. It's just when I like, so if I was going to go to Europe, if I was going to go to Germany or France, uh, you can't really bring it with you there because then you would worry about it. So if you travel and they don't have a safe, you're basically leaving it in your glove box locked, which is difficult. Or you leave it at home, which you're kind of worried about it. So that's the problems, right? You don't, if you lose it, you're really in trouble because I can't get it back. I've already spent all the money on it, but it's not at a bank. But I'm not going to put it in a bank because the bank will close. I won't be able to get it. I suppose you could get a safety deposit box in Germany and put it in. And then when you're leaving to go back, you take it out. And then when you're flying, you just don't declare it because it's really, I don't know why you would declare it. You're not there to sell it or buy it. You're just taking it with, as I take this with. So that's the problem. So people don't understand the dollar has no value. That's the biggest problem. Once they get that, then what you do is you buy gold and silver. So as I say in the Titanic, we know it's sinking. That's the dollar. And you get into the lifeboat is the way to survive the boat sinking. And in our boat, it's gold and silver. So if you want to survive, you have to get off the boat into the lifeboat. You have to get out of the dollar into the gold and silver because the dollar is sinking. It can't keep going. 37 trillion. It's soon to be 38 trillion. I'm always ahead of the game. So I'm always, I call it 38. As soon as it's like 37.3, I'm like, oh, it's at 38 trillion now. I mean, it's not stopping. Again, Social Security, Medicare, I'm just getting a check printed or direct deposit, but with what? Just magic. And they know they'd have a riot on their hands if you said no more Social Security because everybody put money in. That's the problem. It's not a government gift. It's money I put in, I want to take out. And that's where the problem lies. Wait a minute, that's my money you have in there. What they should do is stop Social Security and give me $100,000 lump sum. Pay everybody who's collecting it a lump sum. Here you go. Here's $100,000, $200,000, whatever you have. Thank you very much. And shut it off and stop taking from the kids now. The 30-year-olds are paying into it. They'll never get out. But why did they keep the game running? Just end it already and give the lump sums and let everybody go about their day. I did that when I was at Hiram Walker. My whiskey, it's $300 a month. And they says, well, we'll give you $25,000 as a lump sum. And I took it and I didn't even think. And then I went and bought $25,000 worth of gold with it. It was a no-brainer. Because I said, what's $300 a month going to do for me? That's nothing. That's $3,600 a year. So it takes me 9 years to get the 25,000, but then I can use the 25,000 and buy gold with it. So the 25,000 is turned into 50,000 because now it's doubled. Well, I never would have made money on the payout. I mean, if I just got $300 a month on the pension, it wouldn't have grown in interest. So that's what you do with it. But again, they can't stop it. There'll be a riot. So to keep the peace, they just keep it going. But it's just monopoly money. There's nothing there. So if people really understood, there'd be riots everywhere. So they keep people quiet by not educating them. But I don't want to see everybody get the shit beat out of them going, why didn't you tell me? Or had I known, I would have bought gold and silver. The guy today said, "Well, it's at 3,300." I go, "Well, yeah, you're lucky. It's not 10 grand yet." And I said, Silver's $38 again, back to 38. So this comex game of gold 3,400 to 3,300 for since May, and silver finally got over 37, finally got into the 38s, and it's just sitting there between 38.50 and 37.50. It's really a joke. The demand's huge. They're both worth 10 times more, and they keep playing these option games to keep it down, to keep people away from doing exactly what I'm telling you. If people knew what they're doing on comex and understood what they're doing, there'd be a riot also, and people would be buying gold and silver. It's such a beautiful play right now to buy silver at 30. It cost you $40, 38, cost you 40 at the store. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's 10 times undervalued, at least probably 20. And gold, the same thing, 30, 33.50 is it's at least 10 times undervalued. At least, probably more, because why you see it going down. That's option. Nobody's selling that. Nobody's driving the price down by selling their gold and silver. It's the options doing it. Well, every time they do it and then it kicks back and do it, it's worth so much more, because in the real world, do you see the mantle cards go down in value? No, they just keep going up. The Hannes Wagner 1906 card, does it go down in value? No. 1 trillion, 2 trillion. What? Wayne Gretzky had it with McNall, and it went from 1 million to 3 million. Didn't go down because it's limited, and the limited stuff will hold the value. So that's where we're at with gold and silver. It's worth a lot more than it appears. And once it gets to a physical exchange, China, Russia, Dubai, Singapore, Hong Kong, and they're out there and they're ready to go very, very soon, you'll see 10,000 an ounce gold, and you're going, shit, I could have bought it at 3,300 and tripled my money with no risk in the portfolio. And I'm holding 500,000 in US dollars, which aren't worth anything. So that's what you have. You have things that are not worth anything, but you don't know they're not worth anything. Well, I got a Picasso. Well, it's worth something. So is that the same? Well, no, because you own the Picasso. You own the gold. You own the mantle card. You own the Rolex. You own it. If you own it and you have it in your hand, that's the value. The Picasso value is because it's a Picasso. And it's an original. It means he made one of them. It's a one of one. It's worth a lot. And it's Picasso. It's Van Gogh. It's Rembrandt. It's having the thing. If it was like a digital, it wouldn't be worth anything. Brady tried to do that with these autographs. Stupid. Where did that go? Yeah, it went right down the toilet. So don't get bluffed into stablecoin. You want to stay gold and silver. You might need to sell an ounce. So the beauty of it is you have 100 ounces. And that should be everybody's goal here, is to get to 100. And you need some money, you sell 1 ounce. You have no problem using whatever the money's going to be. If we're still using this USD bullshit, okay, fine, we're still using it, but at least I get 33.50. Right, when it goes to 5,000, I get 5,000 monopoly money. However, if you're paying your credit card, or you're paying your mortgage, or you're paying your trip, it's fine. That money still works. Even though it's worth nothing, you can still go to the grocery store, go to get a trip to Hawaii or whatever with that money, even though it isn't worth anything. We know it's not worth anything, but the businesses don't. Or the businesses are taking the money and running to buy gold and silver, like my friend at Toyota, who goes ahead and he buys he takes the money at the end of the week and he changes everything into gold and silver. He runs a parts store or something, so he gets it. Most of these companies just are clueless. So why is the dollar worthless? Because they printed it to death. There's too much of it and not enough demand. It's worth nothing. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants our bonds. They're not trading with it anymore. The FX, it's not the petrodollar anymore. Petrodollars now, Saudi Arabia likes the yuan, and then they turn it into gold. So Saudi Arabia, they're basically taking gold for their oil. They don't want the dollar. So that's why it's not worth anything. And then to get out of it, you buy gold with it and silver while you still can, why they still will take the dollar for the gold and silver. As long as they will, you keep buying it. Now, if the guy gives me a limit and he says, well, okay, we can't take it anymore, we'll give you one more month, and then I empty my safe and buy the rest of the gold and silver. So that's what you have. But the dollar as it is, it just has no value. I mean, that $100 bill is worth $1. Now I can still use here. I paid $600 for the hotel, and it took dollars, but it could have been $200. But now, because the dollar's not worth anything, it cost me $6. But I can still use the dollar to pay for the hotel. It doesn't mean the dollar's good. It just means the value of it's dropped. But I can still exchange dollars for the hotel room, or for the meals, or for my avocado that sucks. You can still do that, and that's really the key point. So, but most people don't get it. So that's why the dollar's gone. It can't come back. The only way, if I was in charge, I would back it by gold. If I back it by gold, the dollar's fine, because it's not the dollar. It's not backed by anything. Now I go back to gold. It's gold back. It's fine. Don't tell me the gold back currency didn't work. It worked like a charm. From the 1814 to 1913, we were the most prosperous country in the world. The world was the most prosperous it's ever been, because everybody was on gold. It's when we got off the gold standard, all these wars and all this inflation, all these problems are arising. It's like we're going back to the Stone Age. So understand that if you have gold, you're in perfect shape right now. If you don't have gold, you better buy some. Just take your monopoly money and go, and basically get out of your 401k, get out of your pensions, get out of your annuities, and switch it to gold. Or if you have to take the annuity, give me the annuity, and I'm going to buy gold with it. Just buy gold with it every month. Like Bobby, when he gets his $1 million contract from the Mets, who fucked him over, his agent did. Bobby should take that $1 million and go and buy as much gold and silver as he can. Bobby thinks, well, I'll keep getting $1 million. Yeah, the million's not worth anything. I showed you $100 bill is worth $1. What's $1 million worth? 10,000. I mean, now you can buy 3 ounces of gold with your $1 million, Bobby. That's the problem. So, but he doesn't know it. Now, fortunately, he found us, so he does know what to do with it. His kids don't know, but he does know. And that's it. So you buy gold and silver because they can't print it. It will always hold its value. There's no risk in the portfolio, and it's going to go way up in value. So you're going to get the kicker of, not only is it not going to lose value, it's going to go way up. That's your lifeboat. It's as simple as that. Why gold? Because they can't print it. They won't print it. You can always test it. You can't like put nickel into gold and say it's gold. You can't do it. And they can't manufacture it like they tried to say in the Twilight Zone. Well, now we manufacture gold. No, you can't do that either. At the end of the day, you need gold to make gold. And there's no gold to manufacture to produce it, unless you found this huge gold mine and you're just making dollars out of it. It just doesn't work. So that's the key to it. So it's your only out. It's your best out. You're going to make money on it. Not only are you not going to lose money on the dollar going out to zero, but you're going to, so instead of losing $1 million by buying $1 million of gold, not only are you not losing $1 million in paper, but you have the gold that's worth $1 million. It's now worth $10 million. What is $10 million worth? This is the other question we don't know. But $10 million in gold is worth a fortune. And whatever it's going to be priced, whatever new medium of exchange they come up with, believe me, gold an ounce will buy you a house. And that's really where it is. So be careful with the housing market crashing, the banks crashing, because the key to the bank is they loan the money out. Well, they're not going to get paid back on most of their loans because people are losing jobs or everything's getting more expensive. And basically, the dollar's not worth anything. So the banks are going to be screwed anyway. They'll get their, well, we're getting $800 a month on this car payment. That's not worth anything. That's worth 8 cents. So the banks are going to get fucked too. So be careful of the money in the banks. Do not be in the safety deposit box in the banks. You do that, you're in trouble because they'll just close the door. We're closed. Well, I got my safety deposit box. Can I get in and get my contents? No. Because we're a government agency. We can't open our doors. But I got to get my gold out. Sorry. Do not keep your gold there. Find a place, a storage place that's private, that no matter what. That's why Egon's so good, because in Switzerland, you can just go and he's not going to close. He'll always give you the gold. In fact, I think what he says is he'll give you I think what he says is if you want, he'll buy it from you. Actual tasty avocado. Let's say you have 20 ounces of gold with them. You say, you know what, Egon, can you give me the money for it? He'll give you the money for it, and then he'll just more gold for him. So I think you're perfectly set. It's in the mountain in the Swiss Alps, like 500 yards down, and even if a nuke goes off, it's still fine. Leave it to Egon. So it's a very safe facility, but it's for the big players, for the people that have the James Bond bars. I got 100 of those. Profit's supposed to be getting 20 of them in. So that would be something you would go to Egon and say, here, hold my 20 bars, or here's 19, give me 1 bar. Anyway, so that's what's going on in the real world. We've got these wars that the CIA thinks if the war keeps going, they'll get out of the recession with it, which is not the case. You cannot get out of the recession with the war. They think, well, we'll just keep buying arms, and that'll get people to work, and then it doesn't. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. No, you can't get rid of inflation, because inflation is not prices. You printed the money. So you've already printed $150 trillion. So you can't get out of it. And with the $37 trillion debt, that's now 38 and 40, and the interest and Social Security, more people are retiring because of the baby boomer era. So you can't get out of it. So be careful. That's why you don't listen to stocks and stuff, because you're still in the US dollar. The Titanic's still sinking no matter what. All right. So that's it. So anything else? Inflation we've talked about. We're in a recession. This means the economy slowed down. I don't know. I'm trying to think of economic terms. There's no such thing as disinflation or deflation. It's the market adjusting. So you're selling a house, you're buying houses, and there was a lot of buyers, and the price went up to 300, and the price went up to 400, and the price went up to 500. But now all the buyers disappeared. So now they'll pay 300,000 for it, but they're still trying to sell it for 5 because they bought it at 5. And so the fact is, there's no buyers till 300,000. It's just the way the market works. It's not deflation or disinflation or any bullshit Keynesian term. It's the market dropped because there's no more demand. There was not enough demand, and people want to pay 300,000 for it. It reminds you of gold, right? everybody wants gold, and what's going to happen? The price will go up and up and up and up. Only there won't be a time where it'll be here, but people don't want to buy it. People will always buy gold. You just want to own it. It's not price averaging. It's not how much. It's just I can buy another ounce of gold. I buy it much as I can. All right, I'm going to come back with football. Talk college football, baseball, little NFL. There is a couple games today. We'll talk that. And we leave you with gold at 33.40 and silver at 38.11. All right. Have a good day. www.teaserking.com. And I will be right back in about 5 minutes, and we'll talk sports. Any other questions, comments, let me know. But I hope this helps, because it's not, you guys understand it. It's, you're trying to help your in-laws or an uncle or your friends at work or your friends at poker or you golf with, and they won't understand. The banker wouldn't fucking understand it at the golf course. What's my background? Jesus Christ, really? You don't trust me if I don't have the correct background, even though I'm right? I mean, that's just so stupid. Anyway, go ahead. We got Mark McGuire tomorrow. I don't think I'll be on tomorrow. I'll be traveling, but maybe when I get home at night. But just figure Saturday and Sunday. Especially we got college football Saturday, so I'll definitely be on Saturday morning. All right, let's go talk some football. All right, I will be right back. Have a nice day. www.teaserking.com.